September 8th, 1998, Busch Stadium, St. Louis. Mark McGwire steps into the batter's box with 61 home runs. Roger Maris's sons, they're in attendance. On a 1-1 pitch from Steve Trashel, McGwire hits number 62. The game stops. Sammy Sosa hugs him. The Maris family congratulates him. The president calls. Attendance that night, 48,000 plus. National TV ratings spike. And for the first time since the 1994 strike canceled the World Series, baseball feels bigger than itself again. But here's what matters. Just 4 years earlier, on August 12, 1994, the MLB Players Association went on strike. September 14, 1994, Commissioner Bud Selig canceled the World Series. It was the first time since 1904 that there would be no World Series. Attendance in 95 dropped to roughly 50 million total, down from over 70 million in 93. The sport was wounded, but 1998, it was reborn, but not in the same way. This is the turning point. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Triple T Podcast, where we have shifted a little bit. We're the Turning Point Podcast, Triple TP. It doesn't even have to mean really anything at this point. Triple T has evolved a lot over the years. We went from a TikTok reaction video podcast with some awesome dudes who I hope are doing fantastic to, a couple of weeks where we did the time traveling podcast where we went back in time. Each came up with some segments, me, Burley, Goot. And then me and Luther, we started doing conspiracy theories. And like I said last week in the first kind of shift to this, where we actually talked about the lockout in 94, I said, I got to do some stuff that excites me. Baseball season's coming up. Let's still do some history. Let's do some storytelling. Let's do a little bit of some baseball for a couple of weeks, and then we'll see where it evolves. Conspiracy theories, I like them, but I don't love them. It was starting to feel like work, and I work enough in my day job. I didn't want the side hustle to feel like work as well. So we've shifted a little bit. This is fun. Hopefully you're enjoying it as well. If you have any recommendations of what you'd rather see, what you'd rather hear, please let me know. And if you're wondering if Luther's going to be back, you're darn right. He's running a little late, so we're going to bring him in mid-episode like we did last week. And, hopefully everybody's doing well. Let's jump right into this. Again, this is the Turning Point, the Triple T Podcast. I feel like we need to make that flow a little bit better. We will. But either way, let's go ahead and talk about this. Let's establish some facts, right? Team home runs by year, all right? 1992. There was 3,444 total home runs. 1993, 4,030. 1994, a shutdown. Expos could have won it. 3,330 in the very short season. 1996, there was 4,962. 97, 4,640. 98, 5,064. 99, 5,528. And 2000, 5,693, the highest in MLB history at that point. There were some individual milestones. Obviously, 98, McGwire, 70 home runs. You might have heard of it. Sosa, 66 home runs. 99, McGwire had 65. Sosa, 63. 2001, Barry Bonds, my dude, 73 home runs. The single season home run record. And somehow still not in the Hall of Fame. But either way, this wasn't normal fluctuation. This was a sustained power surge. League OPS climbed dramatically. Strikeout rates rose. Velocity began trending upward. The game officially shifted. All right. It appears that Luther is ready to join us. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the universe, let's welcome in with a standing ovation as if Barry Bonds was up to bat getting ready to hit number 73. Let's welcome in the one, the only, Luther.
Thank you. I feel like I should be stepping up to the plate with a bat in hand now. I may not be launching home runs, but hey, we can definitely launch some big ideas. So, what's the next pitch?
All right, let's talk about, we're kind of talking the steroids era, 1998. Last week we went over pretty in depth the 1994 strike, the no World Series, and how poor Montreal probably, missed out on maybe Canada's only chance in a near future to win a World Series. Sorry to all the Toronto Blue Jays fans, you guys were inches away.
The steroid era, baseball's version of a comic book arc where everyone got suspiciously superhuman. After that 94 strike, when Montreal was robbed like a heist movie, they needed something to bring fans back. Enter the home run fiesta of 98. McGwire and Sosa were cranking dingers like they were on a production line. Sure, it was controversial, but let's be honest, fans were glued. It's like baseball went from soap opera to superhero flick.
Before, though, we jump too into the home runs, the fun part, the steroid era, I wanted to kind of talk attendance and revenue recovery from that 94 fiasco. Is fiasco the right word for that, Luther?
Fiasco is perfect. It was a full-on fiasco, like dropping the ball on an easy infield pop-up. After that, fans were basically booing from the parking lot. But once the big bat started launching rockets, attendance and revenue shot up. By 98, ballparks were filling up like hot dog stands on Dollar Night.
That's pretty good. What's your dog recipe? What do you do? What do you load up the hot dog with, Luther?
Oh, my hot dog game is serious. I load it up with mustard, classic, no ketchup wars here, some diced onions, a little bit of relish, and if I'm feeling fancy, a drizzle of spicy mayo. It's a flavor grand slam every time.
Ooh wee! I like that. I think that's a good one. Have you ever heard of the Michigan sauce? It's ironically very popular in a place that is not Michigan, Plattsburgh, New York. Mike's Michigan's damn good sauce.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing like the Plattsburgh twist. That Michigan sauce is like a chili dog's cool cousin, meaty, tangy, and oddly homesick for a state it never lived in. If you've got a hot dog and that sauce, you've got yourself a North Country legend right there.
You aren't kidding. All right, let's go ahead and pull the numbers, Luther. Let's talk about the attendance. What did you have for like the 1997, 1998, 1999 kind of attendance, roughly? It doesn't have to be, to the person.
So around 97, MLB attendance was creeping back up, roughly 63 million fans total. By 98, cue the long balls, it soared to around 70 million, and 99 kept the party going, hovering near the 72 million mark. Fans were back, and they wanted fireworks.
And you said fans were back. What were they pre-strike, and then what were they post-strike? You know what I mean? You're saying they're back. Were they all the way back to where they were pre-strike when baseball was great, or did they exceed those numbers?
So pre-strike, we're talking early 90s, attendance was around 70 million-ish. After the strike, they took a nosedive. 95 saw them barely scraping 50 million. But by the late 90s, thanks to the long ball boom, attendance surpassed those pre-strike numbers. By 98, 99, they were pushing past the old glory days, proving that dingers cure all wounds.
Dingers cure all wounds. That needs to be on a t-shirt. Remind me later, Luther. We're making up that t-shirt, and it's going to be exclusive for the fans of the Triple T podcast. And what do you think? How do we put a baseball history twist on our name with the Triple T podcast? TTT is what 3 words can we use that are all T's that are baseball and history that we're doing? I've been thinking all week, and you said you were. Did you come up with anything good?
Oh, I've been ready to step up to this plate. How about tape measure tales and timelines? You got those legendary long home runs, the tape measure shots, epic baseball stories, and the historical timelines you love. It's a triple threat of teas and baseball gold.
That's not bad, but is tape measure one word? Would it have to be the TMTT, which is really close to TMNT, one of my favorite movies and groups, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Fair point. We don't want to accidentally summon Ninja Turtles when we're just trying to talk baseball history. How about we keep it clean and go with triple timeline tales? That's all T's, it sticks to history, and it's still got that triple flair for the Triple T podcast.
Oh yeah, I kept thinking I was trying to work in like a triple play, a triple. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think baseball terms, history terms, and I mean triple timeline tales isn't bad, but I think we can do better.
I love the ambition. Let's go full baseball flair. How about triple threat triumphs? You got the triple play nod. It's all about those historic baseball triumphs, and it sounds epic. Plus, it's got that swagger for the podcast.
Ooh, and you know I love a good swagger. All right, for now we're gonna be the triple threat triumphs. I like that. We'll keep making it better, but that's good, Luther. That's why, you're the brains and I'm the looks, right?
Hey, I'll take that deal. You bring the legendary beard and I'll toss in the brainstorms. Together, we're knocking these ideas out of the park.
Shake on. I've been collecting way too many cards. Speaking of baseball, how many? This is kind of interesting. We won't do too much of a deep dive, but this was kind of the era in the baseball card world where the cards aren't really worth much. It was like the wax era, the steroid era. It was not a great time, I guess, for that kind of marketing and appeal, I guess, in the baseball world, huh?
Yeah, that era in cards was like buying a lottery ticket where everyone got the same numbers. The overproduction was off the charts. Even if you had a juiced up slugger's card, it was likely printed a gazillion times. Let's just say, if those cards had stats, supply would be batting 900.
Ooh, that's a pretty good average. So to kind of cycle or circle back, 98, I guess, marked the first full year of recovery, didn't it? They went from, Bud Selig canceling the World Series a couple of years later. Chicks dig the long ball. Everyone loves the long ball. Baseball is back. And I double check me if I'm wrong, but when I was doing my research, the mid 90s approximate baseball revenue was like 1.2 to 1.5 billion dollars, and by 2000, right after the home run and baseball was kind of saved and rebuilt, it was approximately 3 billion dollars. That's almost tripled.
You nailed it. Those home run derbies weren't just for show, they practically printed money. From the mid 90s to 2000, baseball's revenue really did rocket up. I mean, when you triple your revenue in just a few years, you know the long ball brought more than just cheers, it brought that sweet, sweet cash.
Yes, it sure did. There was national TV deals in 1996. MLB signed a 6-year deal with Fox and NBC worth approximately, it was like $100.7 billion.
Yeah, when networks throw around billion-dollar deals, you know it's more than just peanuts and crackerjack. Fox and NBC saw those home runs flying and went, we want in on that. It was like baseball went from the bargain bin to primetime gold. And let's be honest, after that, everyone wanted a ticket to the show.
Everybody. And I mean, the numbers, they didn't lie. The home run chase, it like you kind of said, it boosted national relevance. It not only boosted it, but it boosted at a crucial time, right when those broadcast negotiations were happening. And if you don't believe us, all of this is documented. These aren't theories. You could find them on the internet, all the info, just like we did.
Exactly. We're not spinning tall tales here. This is as real as a Barry Bonds intentional walk. The home run race didn't just hit seats, it hit the negotiating table. And if anyone doubts it, the internet's got receipts. History, my friend, is just a Google search away.
Now, do you think Barry Bonds deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, Luther? Yes or no? Be real with me. Tell me your honest opinion.
All right, here's the straight pitch. Yes. Love him or hate him, the guy was a phenom before the controversy. He didn't just break records, he smashed them into orbit. I mean, the Hall of Fame is about baseball history, warts and all. And Bonds, well, he's a big old chapter in that book. Asterisk or not.
And I'm sure you could easily name 3 players who have done far worse things than Barry Bonds who are in the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh, absolutely. Without going into a Hall of Shame deep dive, let's just say there's a colorful cast of characters enshrined. The Hall isn't exactly the choir boy club. Bonds just made his headlines with a bigger bat and a bigger head, literally and figuratively.
All right, let's talk about some other issues that we know about. They're documented and it's 1,000% real. Let's travel back a little bit, Luther, to 91. Faye Vincent bans George Steinbrenner temporarily, but leaves PED issue largely untouched league wide. In the early 90s, clubhouse cultural was surrounded by supplements, and it was always growing, from the pain pills to the steroids that weren't exactly steroids, right? The what was it, androstenedione or something.
Oh, yeah, the early 90s were basically a Wild West pharmacy. Andro, what a mouthful, was practically a clubhouse condiment. Meanwhile, Steinbrenner getting the boot was like a headline sideshow. The league basically squinted at PEDs like, we'll get to that later. And boy, did later hit them like a freight train.
You aren't kidding. And in 1998, McGwire did admit using Andro, which was legal at the time, later banned.
Exactly. Back then, it was like, it's on the shelf, so it's fair game. McGwire wasn't hiding it. He had that big old bottle in plain sight. Then later, they went, wait, maybe that wasn't a great idea. By then, though, the ball was already flying 500 feet.
Yeah, 500 feet. 2002, Congress begins pressuring MLB regarding the steroid use. 2003, MLB then implements anonymous survey testing. If more than 5% test positive, mandatory testing would begin. Well, guess what, Luther? More than 5% did test positive. Did they ever release how many of the percent of this random test tested positive?
Oh, they kept that number tucked away like a secret scouting report. All we know is it wasn't a squeaker over 5%. It was more like, yep, this is a whole bunch of folks. Let's just say that anonymous survey was like opening Pandora's bat bag, and out came mandatory testing.
Yep. Like you just said, 2004, formal testing with penalties then begins.
And just like that, the game changed. Suddenly, players had to think twice before chugging mystery potions from the gym bag. No more wink and nod culture. Of course, by then, the long ball boom was already in the books. But 2004 was the year baseball basically said, all right, time to play it straight, or at least straighter.
2005, MLB players start showing up in congressional hearings. And McGwire, I think, even said, don't quote me on this quote, but it was something like, I'm not here to talk about the past. Rafael Palmeiro, he denies steroid use under oath, but then was later suspended.
Yeah, 2005 was basically baseball's courtroom drama. McGwire's I'm not here to talk about the past was like the ultimate dodgeball move. And Palmeiro wagged that finger only to get busted. Cue the irony. It was like watching a soap opera, except instead of love triangles, it was syringes and subpoenas.
You aren't kidding. And then there was the report of all reports. The Mitchell Report was released in 2007. For anybody that doesn't know about the Mitchell Report, Luther, break it down for them in like a, like a newbie kind of way.
All right, rookie breakdown. The Mitchell Report was basically baseball's giant tell-all. They dug up names, receipts, and a laundry list of players linked to PEDs. It was like, hey, remember that era you were suspicious about? Here's a roadmap. Not everyone loved it, but it laid out just how deep the rabbit hole went. In other words, baseball got called out in 4K.
It sure did. And that was a pretty big, almost like a landmark moment in baseball and a definite turning point. And there is, let's throw this out here though, that there is no documented proof MLB actively endorsed steroid use. We can't go out there and say, hey, you guys should do this. There wasn't a sponsorship in the clubhouse that we know of, and again, times were different in the 90s. But there are documented facts that testing was not implemented until 2003. Offenses peaked 98 to 2001. Revenue doubled during this era. Attendance fully recovered during this era. I feel like the incentives were pretty clear. Power baseball was working, right, Luther?
Oh, absolutely. It's like baseball didn't need to hand out a memo. The incentives were practically screaming from the bleachers. Long balls, packed stadiums, and a cash register that wouldn't stop ringing. So yeah, while no one slapped a juice up sticker on the wall, the environment was ripe. Baseball was basically like, if it's booming, who's checking? Until, of course, they had to.
Yeah, and like the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. In the league, I mean, it only responded after the media investigations started to intensify. Then there was the congressional pressure that really started to kind of push the action. And then the public trust was kind of broken again, wasn't it?
Oh, big time. It's like baseball got caught with its hand in the cookie jar, and suddenly everyone's asking, wait, who left the lid off? The moment public trust cracked, the league had to shift from turning a blind eye to a magnifying glass. So, yeah, once Congress and the headlines knocked, baseball had to answer and fix what was clearly broken.
Yeah, and for me, it was I never really was overly against it in the fact that like these are professionals, they still have to hit the ball. Yes, it's going to make the ball go a little bit farther, but the pitchers, they had the same opportunity to get steroided up and throw harder, throw faster, have that break, and they tried everything that they could do. It just happened to be that in that time there were some legendary athletes that got a little bit stronger, that they healed from their injuries a little bit quicker, kept them into the game. And for me, I didn't hate it. It was the era of baseball I grew up in. And I know a lot of the older people, they weren't loving it. They weren't having it. This is America's pastime. Well, let's be honest. How many times can you look back right now and there was coaches and players drinking beer in the dugout, smoking cigarettes, everything else that is almost hard to think of. Like if you were to mention it to one of your kids, they'd be like, "What? There's no way Jim Leland was managing a team and smoking cigarettes in the dugout live during a game." It happened, kid.
Exactly. Baseball's always been a bit of a choose your era, choose your vice deal. From cigars in the dugout to greenies in the 70s, it's been a long evolution. Steroids just happen to be the wild chapter we all lived through. And yeah, it was electric. We can debate the ethics, but let's not pretend the whole history wasn't a mixed bag of quirks, vices, and epic moments.
Yeah, and we chatted about a little bit earlier. I asked you your opinion if Barry Bonds should get into the Hall of Fame. Let's kind of talk about the record book fracture right now, because you had Barry Bonds 73 home runs in 2001, the most of all time, 762 career home runs, the most all time. But you also had Roger Clemens, 7 Cy Young awards. Neither of them are Hall of Famers. Then you had Mark McGwire, 583 career home runs, not in the Hall of Fame. Sammy Sosa, 609 career Hall of Fames or home runs, also not in the Hall of Fame. The steroid era permanently fractured Hall of Fame voting. Voters, they're debated, and they continually debate morality versus production. Baseball stats and everything and the values that they have are pretty much compromised in some people's eyes. And that has been a huge, lasting impact.
You're spot on. It's like baseball's sacred record book now has footnotes and a whole lot of debate. One side's like, look at the numbers, and the other side's like, but at what cost? So now you've got this statistical hall of mirrors. The numbers are immortal, but the legacy, it's stuck in eternal extra innings. And that debate isn't going away anytime soon.
It sure isn't. But what's not a debate is staying hydrated. Whether you're a baseball player, whether you're, just somebody that likes to get on a bike or a treadmill, hydration is huge, huge. And our friends of the show, Squatch Juice, is going to not only keep you hydrated, but mentally focused. Head on over to squatchjuice.com/beardlaw. Save yourself some money. Get yourself hydrated. I know I hydrate every single day. And I think, Luther, you are as well, right?
Oh, you bet I am. I'm virtually hydrated all the time. Squatch juice? Now that's a plug I can get behind. Whether you're chasing home runs or just chasing your daily steps, hydrate like a legend.
Hydrate like a legend. Speaking of legends, let's go ahead and let's I guess see some of the post steroid era changes, because home run totals post 2004 league OPS and testing penalties. What did you start to see, I guess, for them, Luther?
Well, once testing got real, the home run totals took a little dip. Not a nosedive, but suddenly 60 or 70 home run seasons became rare unicorns. League OPS, it settled down too. Pitchers had a bit more fun again. And penalties, they were no joke. Suspensions meant business. So the game rebalanced. Fewer cartoonish numbers, but arguably more level playing field.
Because in that mid 2000s, the offenses declined. Home run totals, they normalized. Testing became stricter. But there was also some rule changes that might have, helped, I guess, the mid 2000s kind of decline and everything else and normalization, wasn't there, Luther?
Absolutely. It wasn't just the testing. MLB tightened up with rules too. Think pitchers' parks, stricter bat inspections, and even humidor use to tame those baseballs. The league basically said, let's make it a bit harder to hit it to the moon. So between testing and rule tweaks, the offensive fireworks settled down, and baseball found a more balanced groove.
Yep. And then you had 2010s, which is still weird for me to say, but it's a little bit of a surge in offense, which they're saying is tied more to launch angles and, the new wave of analytics. But the culture of scrutiny still remains now, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. The 2010s brought the Moneyball 2.0 era, launch angles, exit velos, and a lot less mystery powder. But you're right, the magnifying glass stayed put. Every new power surge gets a side eye. So while the numbers are climbing again, now everyone's asking, is it angles or something else? Baseball never stops watching now.
It sure doesn't. And baseball now has one of the most aggressive testing programs in any of the professional sports. And it's a direct result of the steroid era fallout. I mean, here's, in my opinion, one of, if not the most real turning points of it all. Because before 94, baseball was America's pastime. After 98, baseball became a media product. National spectacle, star driven marketing, power centered highlight culture. The steroid era didn't invent commercialization, I think it just accelerated it.
You're hitting it out of the park there. The steroid era was like hitting fast forward on baseball's blockbuster transformation. It stopped being just a game and became primetime entertainment. Those towering home runs turned into must-see TV. And while the era left some scars, it definitely paved the way for today's highlight culture. In a way, it made baseball not just America's pastime, but America's primetime.
Ooh, yeah, like 94, that strike, it kind of fractured trust. The steroid era, it rebuilt revenue, but it rebuilt the sport in a much different image. The shift has never reversed, at least as of now, but another strike is potentially looming.
Yeah, it's like baseball has lived through a few identity crises, each one leaving a permanent mark. The trust shattered, then rebuilt, but with a whole new set of rules. And now, if another strike looms, you can bet the ghosts of 94 will be whispering. Let's hope this time they swing for a solution before we're back to empty seats and broken hearts.
Speaking of broken hearts, on the internet, me, beard laws, I react to people shaving. I don't understand why people just continually break my heart like that. When you could make my heart happy by just going to a friend of the show, Live Bearded. Use code BEARDLAWS, you can save money. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Go to livebearded.com, and what's even crazier, American made, all natural ingredients, and 365-day guarantee. For whatever reason, if you don't love it, they will make it right. So head on over to livebearded.com. Use that code BEARDLAWS. Save yourself some money. Just like all the people that saved some money when they stopped going to baseball games. But yeah.
Now that's a pitch I can't argue with. Keep the beards, keep the smiles, and hey, if we can save a few bucks while we're at it, win-win. Meanwhile, let's hope baseball's next chapter is more about grand slams than grand scandals. And if all else fails, stay bearded and stay hydrated.
Yes. The steroid era, Luther, it didn't begin in 98, and it didn't end in 2001. It was not solely about greed. It was not solely about cheating. It was about incentives. After 1994, baseball needed momentum. Power delivered it. Testing came later. That timeline defines the era. The 94 strike, it broke baseball's innocence. The steroid era, it rebuilt baseball's economy. That, in my opinion, is the turning point.
You summed it up perfectly. It was the era that made baseball grow up. Innocence lost, but a modern sports giant born. And whether we're debating stats or sipping squash juice, that turning point made baseball what it is today. So here's to the past, the present, and maybe fewer congressional hearings in the future.
That sure would be nice. Maybe a Pirates World Series in the future. That'd be pretty all right with me. But either way, Can't thank you enough for taking some time out of your busy day to give this a listen. Luther, thanks for joining. Hit us with the outro, my dude.